Welcome to the Power Couples Rock podcast, where our mission is to build a collective community of marriages, where we encourage, inspire, and support one another in order to have masterful marriages. We're Carlos, Catherine, Chris, and Sonia. Please check us out, powercouplesrock.com. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. We believe that one of the most amazing legacies we can leave in life is a great marriage. So we hope you'll listen, learn, and love the conversation. Let's power up.
Welcome to the Power Couples Rock podcast. This is Carlos and Catherine Green. Say hello.
What's up, Power Couples?
What's up, Power Couples? We are excited here. We are attending the Eusebia Weekend Experience for Marriages here in Columbia, Maryland, and we have a dynamic couple that we want to introduce you all to. They have a focus on helping couples financially steward so well.
Yes.
And we've had the awesome privilege and honor of being part of their class, the intensive that they do. And we were so impressed with what they did.
Yeah.
We made them do that for our kids.
For our kids. And they tell us that was the best information.
One of the most profound.
Yes, profound. And they've been actively using the techniques and tools, and they've gotten started at such an early age. So we are so grateful to have them share that.
So
with
we're
us.
excited to introduce you all today to Sean and Lori Chrysostom.
Oh, welcome
Say hello
now,
to
Power
the Power
Couples.
Couples Rock community, guys.
Hey,
Thank
hello.
you.
Glad to
Thank
be
you.
here. Glad to be at Eusebia 2019.
Yes.
Glad to have you all with
It's
us.
so wonderful having you all here. So, community, y'all just hold on, because I'm telling you, the information that you're about to receive now is going to be life-giving for your marriage in the way of just financials and also just in holistic understanding of your marriage. So we want to know a little bit about Lori and Sean. So can you guys give us how you guys met?
We ended up meeting at Howard University.
Got another Howard University.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny. We both were attending an on-campus ministry called Noonday Prayer, and we weren't really like friends
Y'all were
per se.
spiritual back then. In college.
Got saved at college.
Praise God.
And we had mutual friends, and he was actually friends with a girl that was rooming with me at the time. And so Cheryl, she was staying at my house, and Sean was friends with her. And he'd call over to my house. May I speak to Cheryl? May I speak to Cheryl? And I'm like, oh, Cheryl's not home, because she was working a lot of hours and so forth. And he kept calling over there for Cheryl. And I was like, look, you know who I am. This is my phone. You can at least...
You can at least say hello.
You can at least say, hi, Lori. How you doing?
Right.
You know, and so we started talking, and funny, we became good friends during that time period. And then gradually, you know, the Lord just kept moving, and we ended up dating, and, you know.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, Sean, what's your story?
It's the same story. I just always say if she hadn't busted me out, we would never have gotten married.
I love it.
Yeah, she said, you know who I am. You can talk to me. And we started talking and haven't stopped. You know, so 32 years later. Well, 35, because we dated for 3
Yeah,
years.
Right, you got to
Exactly.
count that.
We dated for 3 years, and we just celebrated.
Yes, you get credit for the
We just celebrated 32 years of marriage.
Oh, congratulations.
Sean and
Longevity.
Lori.
That's what's up.
So
That is
cool.
what's up.
So you guys got married 3 years after you were dating. And was that here in the Maryland?
Yep.
Yeah, we stayed in this
DC
area. Yep.
Stayed in
Yeah,
this
Lori's
area?
originally from
Okay.
Chicago. She came to Howard. She graduated, got her job with the government. I came from New York, graduated, got a job working for a bank down here.
Yeah,
and
we just stayed in the area.
We
We always
haven't
liked
left.
DC.
Wow.
And all of our friends were here, so it didn't make sense to try to host it back in Chicago or back in New York. So we just did it right here in Maryland.
Okay. So when did you all start your ministry regarding helping couples? And what did that look like?
That's really
been more
been
recent.
because
Yeah,
when we
good.
first started, we really were working more with youth.
Youth, actually.
Yeah, at our church, we were always part of the youth department, planning little events and retreats.
mentoring programs. And
And really, I'd say it's really due to Dr. Arnold. I've worked in banking for 30 years, but never really thought about using it as ministry. And the first, even before Eusebia, they had an event called Red Hot Marriage up in Pennsylvania. That was the precursor to Eusebia at his church. And he said, I want you to come do a financial seminar. I'm like, okay. So we went up there, we did it. He said, I want you and Lori to do it. And she kept saying, I'm not the financial person, you are.
I'm an engineer.
Right. But we went up and we did that. We did that 2 years in a row for Red Hot Marriage. And then I remember the next year, it's like, you're going to do Red Hot Marriage again? I said, no, I'm looking to do something different. And so from that, he began to, request that we come and do the workshops and things here. But as a result of that, it's like the Lord opened up different avenues. And now my primary job is working with nonprofits and individuals working on credit, individuals who have been homeless, people who are, as we call them, returning citizens. They've been incarcerated, helping them to understand about their credit, savings, budgeting. Really, the way we like to put it is helping people go from generational poverty to generational wealth.
So you've been in the financial services industry ever since you guys have been married then. Straight out of college then.
Right.
And that's been your career. And then, Lori, you've joined him in his work as his helpmeet that's suitable for him to do that. And because oftentimes we do need to hear the woman's perspective, right? As far as wives are concerned, I can let Catherine speak to that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You made some of your best decisions when you talk to me.
No, but it's true because you have to have the balance.
You do.
We're very different personally. In terms
She's
of
much more
personalities.
conservative than I am. I'm much more aggressive, but it balances. And she also brings a perspective of seeing it from somebody who understands finance very well, for somebody who's it's not their field, but she has a very good understanding. And sometimes if you're in the financial field, you speak to people who you think or assume know what you're always talking about. So you may use words and phrases, and sometimes you'd be like, no, Sean, you got to explain that a little bit more because they're not going to understand what you mean there.
Okay. So I want to get into what you all do from a financial standpoint in helping couples, because I know that you all did an intensive last year at Eusebia, and you're doing it again this year because it was highly regarded as probably one of the most effective intensives, especially when you're talking about money.
Yeah.
So tell us about what that intensive looks like and what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay. Yeah. The main goal with the intensive, first of all, is to get people to understand what I call the basics of the economy we operate in. And we kind of do it with a little game. We play a little Monopoly. And I love games because games, though they're simple, they have profound meaning. So, we start with Monopoly, and I get people to understand there's a system and a strategy to Monopoly, even though most people don't know it. So when we break that down, I said it's the same way. Everybody knows the rules to Monopoly, but few people know the strategy. Everybody believes they know the rules to finance and how things operate in this economy, but they don't know the strategy.
Right.
So then we lay out the strategy explaining how, income is good, but wealth is better. And the goal is to take our income and transform it into wealth, into really there are three primary areas: real estate, investments, and entrepreneurship. And you have to be playing in one, at the minimum one, if not all three of those fields, to really build wealth that transfers from you to the next generation, but also will give you sufficient income as you retire and get into that, we call it the fourth season of your life, the winter, the retirement, okay, I've done all my labor. Now you have to have investments and assets that are going to pay you back when you no longer can work or choose not to work in that winter of your season. We talk about the spring being your 0 to 22, the summer being your 22 to 45, your fall being 45 to 65, and 65 and over. You need to have hopefully invested and done all those things and also begin to leave a legacy.
I want to add something too that I think that's really nice with the intensives is that what we do is really make it less intimidating for people, because so many times people feel like, oh gosh, I've screwed up and I don't know what I'm doing. And they don't have an idea of how do I make this work. But I think one of the strengths of what we do is to kind of break it down in a way that people feel like, okay, I can try this. I'm not so far gone that there's nothing that I can do, that there's nothing that I can do to change my situation. And sometimes I think just giving people hope and giving them exposure, and sometimes even if they can't use it, then their children can use it, but breaking it down in a way so that they feel like, all right, all is not lost for me.
one of the things that we learned going through the intensive last year with you all is just the item that you said that you should have one of these three components, if not all three. So we actually added a component that we were missing, which was real estate.
Okay.
We
Yeah, that's
added
great.
that into our portfolio. We were doing good on all the other things, but we also thinking about how do we create and build wealth and that passive income. And it's actually served us well at this point, not only with renters, but Airbnb. So we're starting to see the fruit
That's fantastic.
of our labor because of you guys.
Yeah, it definitely. I
Which is
want to
awesome.
interject and add to what Carlos was saying. I think the intensive was not intimidating. And even though, and Carlos and I have also been in financial industry, so we understand that method. But it's about, you said, the strategy of what you're going to do to take to get more out of what you're investing in, or just to build the wealth. But so we took what you said, which was, because we take classes too, power couples. It's important. You got to get the knowledge and skills. But that was the biggest thing. I'm very conservative. And so I don't like to take a lot of risk, but I know where that comes from. It comes from my dad. But after Carlos and I took your intensive, it allowed us to talk about it, let down some of the walls. We talked about some of my fears and why I feel that way.
Right.
But you allowed us to have discussion and open and ask any questions, and you were open book to us, and it really helped us. And we are a product of a student of your intensive.
Well, we really appreciate
That's
that.
encouraging. You know, it really is.
And one of the things that we really do to also make it less intimidating is we share our own mistakes. People sometimes think that those who are giving this financial advice, that they've always done the right thing and not made mistakes. And, we share where we've come up short. And we also had a great experience because one of the ladies who took the intensive last year, she took the information back to her son, and he had her he sent to her a
Out of his
screenshot of
account.
his investment account, because he started one of those small investment accounts using the app. And here was a young man who had never saved or done anything, and he had $3,000 between last year and this year.
What?
And she was so proud of it. She, in fact, told him, "Send me a picture of the app. I want to tell him." And so that's what makes us excited, that we can really start to get people to feel like less intimidated about investments, about stocks and bonds, and and real estate, and really understand how it can change their lives and their families' lives.
I can just imagine our listeners saying, what did that person do to get $3,000 over a year's time? What app was that, or whatever? Are you at liberty to share that?
Yeah, it's really, there are a number of good apps out there, but I just had them just go ahead. I said, just for a basic understanding and a simple way to see how pennies add up to dollars and dollars add up, I just recommended downloading the Acorn app,
Acorn.
which is tied to his account, and every time he spent, it rounded it up and it put it into a mutual fund for him. And it's a way that you're not putting significant dollars. It's not a huge amount at risk, but you then begin to see how it grows over time. And so it's really a great way, I say, for young adults who are first getting started. You want to graduate from that to other things, but it's a great way to sort of dip your toe into the investment field and see how powerful a mutual fund can be. And the great thing about that app is you can scroll across and say, what's it going to be in 5 years and 10 years and 20 years?
Some projections.
Yeah, it can project. And she was so excited for him, and we were excited for him too.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, you guys got a free tip on that with Acorn from Sean and Lori. So I hope you guys take heed to that advice there.
Yeah. How can they get in touch with you all if they want to do a session, or if they, want to find out more information?
Well, probably the best way is they can get on the website, investwithsean.com. That goes to our wealthcare.com website. And if they get on there, they can also go ahead and choose either to have them, have someone work with them individually, or they can by themselves, kind of based on their preferences, set up or get a basic portfolio, an idea of where they want to start. But investwithsean.com, or they can just give me a call at 301-758-3766. And again, our job is to educate.
Yes.
We love making sure
That's
that people
key.
understand what they're doing, and we want to see people change from generational poverty to generational wealth.
Yeah.
So invest with Sean. Can I spell that so that
Sure.
know?
It's invest, INVEST, with WITH, and then Sean, SEAN.com.
Yes. Thank you.
So we're here at the UCB conference, and our theme this year is clean. Can you guys just give us your quick, thorough understanding of what the word clean or the theme clean means to you all?
Well, I love the way that Dr. Arnold talked about it, that we're talking about clean inside, and we're talking about it being more important to be internally correct than external, and a focus on making sure that the you that God sees is the part that you spend most of the time on rather than the you that others see. And so we want people to be that way also with their finances, because a lot of times people are disingenuous about their finances. They look good
Looks
to
great
the
on the
outside,
outside.
but they
Yeah.
have very little in emergency savings.
Yes.
They look good to the outside, but they have next to nothing saved for retirement.
Oh, that's
You know,
good.
they look
That's
good
good.
to the outside, but they really don't have multiple streams of income. So if one gets cut off, they've run into financial trouble. So clean both spiritually and then even from a financial standpoint, that their finances really reflect, and we use a lot of different biblical principles as well to say, how does God look at how you should manage your money, manage your credit and your debt?
And I think it's very important now also, because if you just look at society today, everything is about the exterior. You look at social media, it's like, what are you projecting? People are into images. What do you see? That means that's what they are, but that's really not true. There's so much false stuff that we're looking at. And then behind the scenes, there's other things going on. So I love what Dr. Arnold was talking about this morning, which epitomizes all of this, that it's like, you can give the impression that everything is fine financially or in your marriage in general, but then you're struggling inside. And so to me, clean is like what we're talking about, where the inside is what you're actually seeing on the outside as well. If you're healthy inside, if your marriage is healthy inside, and financially you're doing things that are conducive to your marriage, that should be what comes out outside.
Yes. Oh,
So how would you just encourage couples on what they should be doing and how they should be doing? Because you talked about clean, and we'll wrap it up with that, but just encourage our couples today.
Well, the first thing I would say is as always, and this may sound very simplistic, but pray. Get in prayer, you and your spouse, join hands and ask God, first of all, for wisdom. It says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, which giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given to you. And so I would ask God for wisdom with regard to finances. And then the second part of the prayer, I would ask God, Lord, send somebody my way. Send someone my way who is going to talk to me and help me understand and help me see the gaps in my financial
Can
picture.
I add, before even that, what I think about is the introspection and the honesty that has to happen first. Because you've got to look and see, is there something going on inside of me that needs to be corrected? Is there something going on between the two of us that needs to be corrected? Then after that, then you can start to seek elsewhere, because sometimes we haven't really confronted what's going on inside of us, honestly.
Speak that.
yes.
One of the things I know I've always said is like, Lord, don't let me lie to myself. Because if I'm lying to me, then I don't have any hope. You know what I mean? You got to be honest with yourself when you're having difficulties
Yes.
in your marriage, in your finances, whatever it is. Because if you're not, how do you tackle it?
Yeah. That's good.
Guys, that's a great word.
Yes.
That's an amazing word. And so I hope you guys are taking heed to this advice that a dynamic, wonderful couple is giving you all. So thank you for listening to the Power Couples Rock podcast. We know that you have been blessed. We don't have to ask. We know that you've been blessed by Sean and Laura Chrysostom. You can reach them by going to investwithsean.com, and they would be more than happy to assist you in on the road to financial wealth.
Yes.
Not just
Absolutely.
getting rich, but financial wealth.
Yes. Thank you. And always visit powercouplesrock.com. And with that, we're going to say, let's get
Powered up.
Thanks for listening to the Power Couples Rock podcast. We hope that you've been encouraged, inspired, and supported. Please listen and subscribe to our other Power Pods as we are confident that they will strengthen your marriage. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. It's there where we can extend these discussions together, take these conversations and your marriage to the next level. Enjoy your day and power up.